Hey buff dudes and girls, if you want to build that explosive strength and have a whole bunch of exercises of Plyo boxes for you. It took 3 generations of buff dudes and we got it done. We're gonna glue it, screw it, and tattoo it.
So to build our Plyo box, we're going to need a 4x8 by 3/4 inch sheet of plywood. As you can see here, we've already made our cuts on that plywood. We're going to be cutting 2 24 by 28 and a halves, 2 20 by 30s, and 2 20 by 24s. We also are showing the waste after we cut that. Now if you don't have a saw, the lumber yard will cut it for you. Then we're going to be getting some 2x2s. Let's go over some of the tools you're going to need. Again, it's optional that you have a saw. You can have that cut at Home Depot or any other lumber yard that you have. But some of the things you're going to need yourself, you can use a square. You're going to be cutting it. You're definitely going to be needing a drill to put the screws in that we're going to be using. These are wood screws. A sander to take off the edges of the Plyo box once it's finished so you don't have any sharp edges just in case you miss. We're going to be using a jigsaw to cut the handles out, and then some paint and some stencils so we can put on our 30-inch, our 20-inch, and our 24-inch. Because either way you turn it, it's going to be an awesome Plyo box with three different sizes. Let's get started on this project. Let's make some sawdust. So we're going to take the 2x2s and attach it to the 2 sides that are marked 24 by 28 and a half. We're going to put a layer of glue on there. Then we're going to use our wood screws and attach that. The framework is really going to add stability and longevity. Another thing about plywood, when you buy this sheet, sometimes plywood isn't perfectly flat just because it's wood and the shipping process, whatever. So when you build your box, make sure you've got a nice flat surface to start to put it together on. If you take a surface like over here, which is kind of warpy, it's going to be hard to get all your corners to come out, and then when the box is done, it's not going to be aligned perfectly. So again, start with a very flat surface and line your framework out or your box sides, and then start gluing and screwing. Make sure those corners are nice and square. Now in this part, we're going to use the 1 3/4 screws, because that's going to go actually 1 inch past the thickness of the 3/4 inch plywood. Let's do it. You can sink it in and countersink it so they don't poke up. Now if you want to line these out, you can put a screw every 6 inches if you want. And that ain't going nowhere. I want to point out another advantage to putting a framework around it is you get a very stable solid surface, a solid wood product for those screws to go into. Eventually something like this is going to happen with the plywood. When you put the box together, it's okay to screw through this part of the plywood, but when you screw through the edge of the plywood, it's going to go through one of those layers. Plywood is just a bunch of layers put together, sandwiched together. When you go through one of those layers, that weakens the joint. So by adding that framework, you won't have any weak parts of putting the screw into the side of the plywood. So it's a great advantage to just getting some 2x2s and building a frame, which is really simple. All right, there we go. Now both sides are done to have the structural framework. We're going to add a piece in the center that's going to have an upright to go to the other top. We're going to take the 2 21-inch pieces and center them on the 15 3/4 inch piece like this, and that's going to provide us that center structural support. So we're just going to glue the ends, screw it together, and then we'll be able to start putting this box together. In this part of the build, we're using the 3-inch screws like this. We're only going to need 6 of them because we're going through the 2x2s into each other. going to put these last pieces of framework up. And we're going to glue it. Make it flush. I really want to check that because the other piece is going to go along. We're using 1 3/4 inch throughout. But remember, only 6 screws will be 3 inches long to tie in the 2x2s. Screw. Okay, so we got all the sides on. Check it out. Framework's in. One last piece, and that's the top. I put some glue in there. We're gonna go ahead and put this on top. Now the tighter it fits, the better. So it's fitting really tight. I'm just gonna pry it in. The tighter it fits, the better. Since we have our framework, and now we have our Plyo box, a couple other things we're going to do is put some handles on it and some labels. But here's the sides: 20, 20 by 30, 20 by 30, 20 by 24, 20 by 24, and 24 by 28.5, which actually will be 30 inches. Remember, that's the inside cut. So let's complete this project. Alright, it's all screwed and glued. So our next step is the handles, which you're going to grab the Plyo box with. Went ahead and centered the handle and made a mark. And then I brought it down 4 inches so you could have room to get your hand in there. Because remember, we have framing here, so we have to drop it down a little. And then it is 1.5 inches wide by 6 inches long, so it's going to accommodate almost every hand. Now we're going to go ahead and cut that out with this jigsaw. Hello! Hello! Okay, we're going to go ahead and fill the screw holes with some wood putty. You don't have to do that, but we're going to go, oh, let's make it nice and clean looking. And that way, and then after this dries, we'll sand it. Okay, got it all sanded, got the corners all rounded so there's no hurting on the shins. And now we're just painting it. Buff dude style. What I did for a final, I put 2 coats of polyurethane on there, and it kind of smooths everything out. Of course, sanded and rounded the corners, put the stencils on, put the tattoo on, and this baby's ready to jump. So if you don't want to build one, you're easily attainable, but if you do, now you got a video to follow and build you a lifelong Buff Dude's Plyo box.
So we showed you how to build the DIY Plyo box. Now let's show you some of our favorite exercises. Yeah.